have discussed in earlier modules about the job evaluation, and then how the job evaluation can be a method for the purpose of the identifying the training needs, because for any organization this becomes very important, that is the when they have to decide the training calendar for the whole year, how the training needs are to be identified. And here in this particular module in that is another method of that for the identifying the training needs, that is the performance appraisal, and that we will be discussing. So, in last module I have discussed about, that is whenever we talk about the job evaluation is evaluation of a particular job and not of a person. But when we talk about the performance appraisal, the performance appraisal that is to be appraised of an individual. For example, when we talk about the faculties in academic institutes. So, according to me, there are the 5 pillars on basis of which the performance of a faculty will be appraised. That is about the teaching, training, MDP, industry connect and training, then the research, then projects and consultancy, then the administration. So, teaching, training, research, projects and consultancy and administration, these are the 5 pillars, and on these particular pillars, that is what type of the contribution is there of a faculty, and there are different sub dimensions are there in this particular 5 major attributes. So, those dimensions will be appraised. Now, for example, the performance appraisal, the what is to be done and how it is to be done, and what are the common methods are there in performance appraisal, that we will discussing. And if like in Ballapur Industries we have seen, there are certain points of weightage are there, and if the total target, total score or total weightage is not there of a particular employee, then we have to identify where the employee is lacking. If the employee is lacking in a particular knowledge level, a particular skill level or a particular behavioral level, then we can identify those particular gaps, and then we can provide him the training. So, and with the help of performance appraisal. So, what is the performance appraisal? Performance appraisal is the step where the management finds out how effective it has been at hiring and placing employees, right. So, it is the method where when we talk about the the help, how the management uses it, it should not be a threat basically. Performance appraisal is not a threat, it is a facilitation, it is a support, that is the how the gaps to identify where an employee can improve upon, where the employee can perform better, or where he is not able to perform. So, if it has been hiring and placing the employees on a particular place. So, during performance appraisal somebody is found very good in case of the interpersonal dynamics. If the very good in interpersonal dynamics, then definitely the person will be able to be taking the care of the such jobs where the more and more interactions with the internal and external stakeholders is required. Performance appraisal is a systematic and objective way of evaluating both work related behavior and potential of employees. So, therefore, when we making the appraisal of this particular person, on one side it is making the behavior aspect also, that whether the behavior is excellent or there is a need to facilitate him in conflict management, there is a need for the stress management, there is a need for the emotional intelligence development, there is a need for the spirituality development, and then simultaneously at the work technical jobs, job efficiency. So, that is the potential of the employees wherever is required, and that we can enhance. So, performance appraisal is the how and where the person is to be placed, how and where the person is to be hired, and where the person is required a training in the case of these related behavior, or in the case of the increasing the performance of the employee. So, definitions of performance appraisal includes all formal procedures used to evaluate personalities. And so, why there is a need of the formal procedure in performance appraisal? there is a need for the performance appraisal to identify with a particular systematic way in a procedure, so employee knows how he will be appraised. Employee will also know on the left side columns that what are the expectations from him, what are the benchmarking practices are there, and accordingly he will develop those particular personalities and contribution towards that particular job. So, it becomes very important, that is, there should be a formal procedure. There should not be informal procedures. Informal procedures many times may lead by mistake, may not be intentionally, may lead biases and prejudices. Therefore, a scientific, systematic, formal procedure of appraisal is very important. It is a continuous process to secure information necessary for making correct and objective decisions on employees. Now, if it is not a formal procedure, what will happen? That is, the subjectivity will be more. The person on his own perception, he will appraise the person. The person on with the limited time of interaction, he will appraise the person. So, to avoid this, it is required a secure information. Secure information means the information which is having the support, which is proven, which is having documented, and then making the correct and objective decisions on employees, and on basis of those particular results that we can make the correct and objective decisions we can be made. But if it is not a formal procedure, then there might be chances, there might be errors in judging others, shortcuts in judging others, the perception. It can be halo effect. If there is a halo effect, then there might be the chances, that is, the person may not be judged properly, or there is a similarity effect, or the contrast is there, then in that case there might be not be the chances of correct objective based appraisal. So, to make the correct and objective based appraisal, a formal procedure is needed. It is the process of evaluating the performance of employees, sharing that information with them, and searching for ways to improve their performance. So, earlier it was CR, confidential report, but not now. Now, here the whatever the appraisal is done, that information will be shared with the employees himself, and for ways to improve their performance. Why we have to share with them? So, there can be a discussion. For example, an employee is not able to achieve the targets, but if it has not been discussed with him, what will happen? That is, the one sided decision will be taken, that is, he is lacking in his performance, but there might be the reasons, there might be the organizational reasons. Organization may be responsible for not getting him to achieve his targets, and then that is to be known. For a simple example is delay in process of approval. So, if the delay in the employee is waiting for the approval, and unless and until the approval is not there, he cannot perform. If this is the situation, there will be need, that is, the management should know that in the system there should be the introduction of technology is required, so that the process can be speedy, it can be fast. If it is speedy and fast, then only in that case there will be the evaluation of the employees will be done. What are the objectives of the performance appraisal? Now, here you see, the first and foremost is, that is, whenever we talk about the personal growth and development of the employee is very important outcome, because unless and until the person will not develop, the organization cannot develop. Organization has to understand, that is, if they want to enhance the performance of their employees, then they have to support them with in a different ways, so that there can be the task which he is performing, and they are rooted, and then they have given a particular support, and then as a result of which the personal growth and development will be there. And to what type of the personal growth and development is to be there, that information will come from performance appraisal, and a trainer will use this particular information for the training the employees. Second is compensation decisions. As I mentioned, that is in the job evaluation. In the job evaluation, we understand how important is the job in the hierarchy in the organization structure, where the job is sustaining, and if the job is sustaining at the higher level, the compensation that has to be the higher. So, when we were talking about the equity of compensation, and then during appraisal, that is the employee is performance, this is a performance and this is the pay. If the performance is the high performance, then definitely the pay is to be also high. So, in this case it becomes very important, that is whenever we talk about the compensation decisions, then we have to understand that is what is the level of the performance of the employee, and this level will be decided on the basis of the appraisal, that is whether it is a low or it is a moderate, or it is a low or moderate or it is a high. So, therefore, in that case these compensation decisions, the performance appraisal will help, that is what will be the compensation decisions are there, and this compensation decision is also a sort of a support to employees in case of the development, and the development means through training. Then promotion decisions are there. So, development of an employee himself in the hierarchy, that depends on the basis of performance appraisal reports. In the performance appraisal reports, if the employee is able to develop that particular sense, that is what type of this development is possible, and how the promotions are to be is to be provided or not to be provided. So, all these decisions that will be taken care by this particular on the basis of the performance appraisals are there. Now, foremost important is this appraisal will give us the gap, and if the gap is there, then we can design the training and development programs. So, when we talk about the training need and assessment, in training need and assessment, many organizations they use this performance appraisal to identify that what type of the training and development programs that are to be structured and designed, and most of the time it has been discussed with the employee also, that is whether he is having that particular discussing with him, that is this is the gap is there, and on basis of your performance appraisal this gap has been observed, do you agree? So, sometimes it may agree, he may agree, sometimes he may say no, this is not that I am not capable, it is because of the XYZ reasons of the organizations that I could not deliver. So, then that discussion will be there, and on basis of which the training and development programs will be designed, and naturally the feedback to the employee will be given that these are the areas where the gap is there and he is required to develop. So, objectives of performance appraisal is also to one of the objectives of the performance appraisal is to design and develop and explore where the employee requires training and development programs, and what type of the training and development programs are required by the employee. Now, in the case of this analysis job evaluation, we have talked about the organization analysis, person analysis and the task analysis. In case of the appraisal, we will talk about the individual, team and organization, that is the organizational and individual, and the what sort of the team is there. So, on base if there are the champions, HR champions, exceptional performers, if there are the exceptional performance, then in that case we will have the recognition of their past efforts. On basis of that we say yes, he is a champion, he knows his job very well, and if this job is to be done, only the X is the person who can do this particular job, and that is about the individual's recognition of the past efforts. To know the developmental requirements, now it is also not only the recognition, but for future also, that what sort of the development is required. Then we will talk about that is the what is the team. The team is the now every individual's performance, as I mentioned in the organization, depends on the performance of others. it is the linking with the other employees. If the linking with the other employees is in a with the connecting in such a way that is it is not a group, it is a team. There is a coordination amongst the members, there is a synergy amongst the members, and then in that case we will see that is there is a team is there, and then alignment of efforts with the objectives. All are working towards the common objectives and goals, and then that will be performed. On other side is motivation to team members. So appraisal especially in IT industries, the project work. So project work will be providing the motivation to team members because they are making the alignment, they are working together. In appraisal they come to know that where they are good, where they are bad, what are their strengths, what are their weaknesses, and on basis of this they will decide that is the how they are working, and then they will get motivated. So appraisal also helps in case of the motivation and to develop the organizational performance. Next is the organization. Organization is the development of human capital. So this is through the training and development only. So therefore in the organization these individuals, those who are there, and then they are developed, and if they are developed, the teams are developed. If the teams are developed, then the human capital is created for the organization, and that is making the best utilization of resources. If there are the best utilization of resources, the organization will work accordingly. So question arises, that is for the training and development, what types of the performance information is required. So it will be based on the trait based. The performance appraisal form has to be designed in such a way that is the what type of the attitude, what type of initiative, and what type of the creativity has been designed. If the attitude and initiatives are there is a gap in the attitude, it has been found like the team orientation, attitude, there is a gap, then definitely training programs with the exercises, business games, we can create that type of attitude, that is a trait based can be developed. Initiatives, like certain employees they are very good performers, but they are not taking any initiative from their own side. So one has to identify, one has to train, that is these are the gaps in which you are supposed to develop yourself, you have to take the initiative. It is untold, many times it is untold to take the initiative, but it is expected, it is always expected but not always told. That is the beauty, and therefore the many bosses are not happy with their subordinates because they are not taking initiative, they are performing well. Subordinate understands I am doing good, but then what is the reason that I have not been appreciated? The reason is the expectation of the supervisor is that is the initiative, and therefore this has to be communicated to him, and then that is this type of initiatives are expected, because initiatives are many times are more than what is expected. It is plus, and those who are able to give more, right, then definitely in that case they will take initiative, but those who wants to give less or those who want to give the equally, then in that case they will not take initiative, and therefore this appraisal information will provide, that is this is very interesting point, and this is to be learned. That is at our workplace we are supposed to take initiatives, and initiatives from how to take the initiatives, what initiatives from the surrounding, that is what type of problem is there, okay, I should solve this particular problem, and that initiative is required. The third type of information which is very important, and that is the creativity. That is there any creativity or not? If the creativity is there, then definitely the person is more and in a better way he has been appraised. This particular trait, then it will be behavior based. What is the behavior based? Verbal persuasion. So if there is any gap is there, and then you find that is then the bosses are to be trained, that is how they make the verbal persuasion. It should not be negative, it should be positive. In a positive way, if the superior they are able to train their subordinates, then that will be verbal persuasion is there. Then timeliness of the response, it becomes very important, that is the whatever the personal information of appraisal is there, now it should not be communicated after 6 months again when the next appraisal will likely to start. So, therefore, timeliness of the response is there, otherwise there will be no change. If the person is not communicated timely, then there will be no change, and as a result of which their timeliness of the response is very important to communicate to the employee that no, this is a time you should improve upon this. Third is what is the decision making. The performance appraisal is also helping, that is what type of the decision making style is there, and if the proper decision making style is there, then definitely they will be able to perform. What will be the result based? The result based will be sales made. Sales made means that is the whatever the job has been done, then accordingly it will be sold to the right customer. Customer satisfaction will be there, and there will be cost reduction is there, because the verbal persuasion is there, trait is developed, behavior is like a positive behavior, attitude is there. There is a behavior is supportive behavior, and as a result of which the clients, the customers, they will be satisfied, and there will be the cost reduction. On basis of this, you will find that we can go for the personal performance information from time to time. Now, here you will find that is the performance appraisal process that has to be very important point here. The performance standards, what I can do, what an employee can achieve, how he can contribute, and that has to be communicated to him, communicate the standards. This is very important. Not failure, but low aim is crime, and that is the how to keep very high aim in the life, how at the workplace, how one can do the best, and the person who can get a very right time, a very right training, that is this is the particular process which he should follow. He is lacking because of these gaps in his behavior. These are the gaps in his trait. So, identify those particular trait and behavior based gaps, and then communicate the standards. And believe me, many times people are not aware. People are not aware that is what traits they are lacking to do this particular job, or what type of the behavior they are lacking to do this particular job. It is their natural behavior, it is not trained behavior, it is not match behavior. So, sometimes it is mismatching with the results. But if it has been communicated and told to them that is yes, this is a standard, you can achieve that standard by these means. That is a training program basically, and then in that case the person can give the miracle results are there. We have to find out the actual performance gap between the standards and gap between this. So, therefore, in that case what is the difference is there in these standards and the actual performance. If there is a gap between the standards and actual performance, then we can identify the areas and compare the actual performance with the standards and discuss the appraisal. That is, if this is expected, this is missing, and therefore, in that case this is to be done, and that taking the corrective action if necessary, and that is a training. So, in the training need basis, it becomes very important, that is the employees they are aware about the performance standards, and then here submission is it is not totally be unrealistic, it should be realistic, it should be flexible, but it should be achievable. The most important point is these standards are achievable standards, these are not unrealistic standards, and therefore in that case once we decide these standards, we communicate the standards, we compare the actual and this performance actual performance with the standard performance, and then this gap, that is the gap, the corrective action will be that providing the training, and this will be the wonderful concept for the identifying the training needs for a particular individual. Now, this can be also applicable for the group performance. The team is working and team standards are there, communicate the team, they measure actual performance of the team, and then compare the actual performance with the standards and discuss the appraisal. So, therefore, in that case the employees will come to know where they are lacking, and then they can develop on basis of this particular training programs. Now, I would like to take an example of this particular case study, that is the best practices in employee performance appraisal at the L&T. That is how L&T is taken. Engineering major Larsen and Toubro has developed a competency matrix which lists 73 competencies that vary across managerial levels to measure performance and gauge development needs of its employees. And this list of these 73 competencies is based on the whatever the expectations from a particular job, on the basis of that job evaluation, basis of the task which is to be performed by this particular position, and then they are having these 73 competencies that has been developed. Each listed competency has associated knowledge, skill and attributes, as I mentioned in the trait based, behavior based, and then these are the buzzwords, that is the knowledge and skills and attributes. These, if you want to measure the performance appraisal, identify whether the employee is having that particular level of knowledge or not, that particular skills or not, and that particular attributes or not is there. The company appraises individual employees on the listed competencies and zeros is on the functional, managerial and behavioral skill gaps. So, whatever has been the company appraises individual employees, the listed competencies are there, and then they are making the on the whatever functional, managerial and behavioral skill gaps are there. So, if there is a functional gap, then the functional type of training will be given. If there is a managerial gap, managerial type of training is given, and behavioral skill gaps, then behavioral skill gaps, and then the type of training has been provided. Subsequently, customized reinforcement is provided, that is the in whatever all the three or any one of them, whenever there is a lacking, then there will be customized reinforcement that will be provided. Further, as the matrix is linked to the business strategy on the one hand and training needs on the other, strategic needs drive the company's development policies. So, therefore, this particular matrix which has been linked to the business strategies, this is important. I have talked about this linking of these personality traits, attributes with the business strategies, individual goals with the organizational goals. Business strategies are to be connected, both are to be connected on the one hand and training needs on the other hand. So, but there is a gap is in the actual expectation, actuals, and whatever is the expectation is there, and if this particular gap is there, that will identify the training needs on the other strategic other needs are to be there. So, all these training needs are to be identified on the basis of this particular the whatever the business strategy, and that matrix is created. Matrix is a relationship between the competencies and the individual's performance, and that will drive the company's development policies, that yes, these are the areas where we are lacking, we are required to improve upon, making the process of the relearning and reskilling easier. So, wherever a gap is there and there is a need for the relearning, then the training needs are to be identified, and then learning and reskilling will be done, and again and again with the period of time, the employees, they will be motivated to develop themselves, and accordingly they will develop. The Japanese white goods measure has developed a performance assessment system driven by the KRAs, key result areas are there. So, in some organizations not the traditional style of the performance appraisal, rather than they are going by the specific KRAs, that is the key result areas, and then they will identify that is the how they are making these best practices in employee performance appraisal. KRAs describe performance global business, key result areas, global goals business, performance goals business, functional and behavioral ones with defined time frames and are decided jointly by the employee and his manager at the beginning of the year. So, therefore, these KRAs, key result areas, so that will be very much focused, that will be the whatever the goal business, whatever the functional and whatever the behavioral, these are the three aspects are there and they are matching or they are not matching. If they are not matching by the employees and his manager in the beginning of the year, then definitely there will be the suggestions for the training programs. It is a structured exercise using a written format. These KRAs are then used to map the employees progress, and based on the results the company decides to plug performance gaps with the help of relevant training inputs. So, therefore, in that particular KRAs, if there is a not a proper match is there in this matrix, then they used to map the employees progress, and on based on the results the company decides to plug performance gaps with the help of relevant training inputs are required, and if their relevant training inputs are provided, then in that case the definitely the gaps will be fulfilled, these KRAs will be achieved, key result areas will be achieved on basis of this competency mapping, that competencies are there and these are the KRAs, and then if the KRAs and competency mappings are matching, then there will be the results. And then National Panasonic puts a great deal of emphasis on this process for reskilling its employees, as it believes in growing its own timber rather than opting for the expensive mid career hires. So, therefore, what they do, they right from they hire the trainees, management trainees, and then develop their KRAs, identify that is where they are be able to achieve or not. If they are not able to achieve, then they create that particular style of the training programs, and with the training programs they support them to develop those KRAs and strengthen their KRAs, achieve their goals, and there will be better performance will be there. So, finally, what we talk about? We talk about that is there will be the administrative uses of the performance appraisals. It will make a difference to company performance, documentation of performance appraisal and feedback may be required for the legal defense wherever it is required, a rational basis for the constituting bonus or merit system, appraisal dimensions and standards can help to implement strategic goals and clarify performance expectation. So, this will clarify the performance expectations, and this will be used for the developmental purposes. What will be the development purposes? The performance appraisal will be used for the individual feedback, helps people to rectify their mistakes and get ahead, focusing more on their unique strengths. Assessment and reorganization of performance levels can motivate employees to improve their performance. So, therefore, this will be the development process will be there, and when we are talking about their mistakes, more unique strengths, the reorganization of performance levels through their training programs. Here is the role of the training programs, that is if you provide them the training, then definitely the persons, those who are lacking in this particular achievement of their targets and goals, they will be going to this particular process and then motivate employees to improve their performance, as a result of which their performance will be improved. So, therefore, to achieve organizational goals, the appraisal is done, and then appraisal and the goals, the gap is identified with this particular gap, and then particular support will be provided, as a result of which the training programs can be designed. The improvements areas can be identified for the employees, and then that can be used for the conducting the training programs and identifying the training needs. Basically, training need assessment can be done with the help of the performance appraisal. So, this is all about the performance appraisal and training need assessment. Thank you.